feels like work, and then there's other parts like, oh my God, this is so much fun, and it's just crazy when you think about it. So tell me about some,
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of work. There's a lot of work.
Well, what are they telling you? I mean, so what's it like being the new girl?
Welcome to the club. Welcome aboard.
Yeah,
And it is definitely a lot of work. It's what you get would depend on how much time, effort, and that you can dedicate. So
have you closed your first one?
I'm working on it.
Anybody? Now, are you buying or selling? You find yourself
buy, sell, lease, rent.
Yeah. So tell me about what is your target sale right now? What is it? What one property do you have in front of you that you'd like to get out from under today? That you'd like to sell for somebody?
There's this great property in the Marble Cave area. Actually, there's several properties in the Marble Cave area.
I tried to buy some from Ted years ago.
Okay, well,
we
can talk turkey off the air.
I thought we had a pretty good number at the time, and then we
the
started.
Numbers are great.
Really talking turkey, and then it was no. I'll give you a property at that price, but it's nowhere near the ocean. I'm like, well, wait a second, hold on. I want something that I can see that side of the ocean with. Number one, and number two, I want it to be. I want to live next to people that have got a lot of money, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a container down, a 40-foot container, and I'm going to get a swimming pool from Kmart and go, okay, I'm done. And then just to annoy them so they move. I'll bring the prices of their property down.
I think they have
rules.
Maybe there's some ways around that where we'd have to.
So is it mostly
relocate.
property that you're looking at these days?
Right now, yes.
Okay, just selling property.
Yes.
There's some value to doing something like that as well, and you might want to start getting into the properties, especially up around that part of the island with the buildup and everything that's going to be taking place, and get in while the construction costs are still relatively low, because I got a feeling in a couple of years, cost to develop property is going to be going through the roof.
Well, let's see what will happen with the situation right now with the construction business in the H2B.
Well, it might as well give you an opportunity to make a pitch. If somebody wanted to get a hold of you, I know that you're available on Facebook, because that's how I got you, is Vicky Ganashis Borja on Facebook.
Right.
And if you reach out to her there, be happy to put you in touch and maybe make connections between properties that you might want to buy or sell, and businesses, or not businesses, but built up houses and homes and things like that you want to say. Do you have any of those? Do you have any homes for sale? Because there's people looking to buy. They want to buy at the right price.
There's plenty of homes for sale. Just give me a call, 483-8000. Let me know what you have in mind, and there are plenty of homes for sale.
So tell me about your role in politics in this last election.
Okay, I was the treasurer for Doris Flores Brooks.
Had you ever done that before?
No, it's my first experience actually being involved in any campaign.
Let me touch on this here, and I don't want to mention anybody's ages or anything like that. I will say that we're contemporaries and that we're peers somewhat, but it sounds like you're going through something like a renaissance. There's been a season of firsts in the last year, right?
Yes, but that's nothing new. I think that's just something that I'm used to that
Is that like a part of a core philosophy with you, that you always want to try something different?
It seems to not necessarily. It just happens,
right?
And I welcome it. I'm fine with it.
So how did you get suckered? How did you get suckered into that job?
Suckered into that job.
He's not doing anything. Make her treasurer.
In fact, I just got a puppy when I got a phone call from Mr. Brooks.
I've seen that dog. It's not a puppy.
And he's
I've seen you on the road with that dog in the back of the truck. I mean, the dog occupies the majority of the back of the truck.
He's 10 pounds now, and 10 months. And he's 85 pounds now.
You're not 85 pounds.
No, I don't. Well,
no
comment.
It's a massive. Anyway, it's a massive. So you just gotten a dog.
Yeah, and then I got a phone call, and I was asked to help with the campaign. And my thought was, how am I going to? I'm going to take care of my puppy, and I always knew it was going to be a lot of work, especially when you just had a puppy, but I can't call back and say, I'm sorry, I can't do this because I just got a puppy.
No, listen. People keep insisting that I get a dog, and I'm like, I'm just not home enough for a dog, and they require, especially puppies, a lot of attention.
Yes.
Otherwise, when you do come home, you better come home with a 409 in one hand, and you've got the paper towels in the other, because there's going to be something that needs to get cleaned up.
Yeah.
So you've got to build in time for the training of the dog, and of course, the puppies need they need to socialize. They need company.
Well, fortunately, Chewbacca,
Love it.
yeah, what a mistake, because now he's chewing up everything. I think he's definitely lived up to his name.
Oh, no.
I've got to repair some drywall.
What kind of dog is it?
It's a chocolate Labrador.
Oh, so where did you get that?
It's from a family in Jigo.
Okay, we'll trade numbers on that a little bit later on if for no other. I don't know. Do they shed a lot?
Yes, he's starting to now. So I'm considering maybe taking him to the groomers and
take him to game, put him up for adoption.
No, I'd have to put him up for sale.
Oh, right, okay. Get the investment back.
Oh yes, I actually had to pay quite a bit for a trainer for dog obedience. That's how bad it started to get. And I was actually contemplating, but I just can't. Once you're attached, I'm already attached.
Totally know how it is. I totally know how it is.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, and but the training process is fun as well.
It's a lot of work. Not really. It's pretty exhausting, but
you learn things from that. I mean, I don't. Without putting too fine a point on it, there are things that I've learned from dog training that I've been able to use at work with the employees.
like put a choke collar?
No, not necessarily the choke collar.
That's what I'm doing now.
Reward systems and things like that.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Just try to make it so the dog's not training you. That's the trick. And you can also, same thing works with kids too, is just by the way. So, just so you know, keep solid notes on that. So you'd gotten this puppy. I'm sorry. I've been so interested in the conversation about people and their animals lately. So that's why I'm jumping deep into this, right?
Let's not go there.
Okay, so but you got the dog, and they said, okay, Doris is going to be running, and this surprised everybody. Did you know that was coming? How long before the media did you know that she was going to be stepping away from that job? Because she could have been OPA for life. About
a couple of weeks. Actually, before I was asked to help as treasurer, I did get a phone call from Doris to let me know what her plans were. And we talked a little bit, and so about 2 weeks before it was...
Before it went wide, See, now there's another thing about Vicky that you should know: she can keep a secret. Because it was, I thought, a pretty well kept secret. There was, there were maybe just a skosh of a rumor that was floating around, but in the context of all of the other rumors that were floating around at the time about the Attorney General and different things that were taking place in the legislature and all of the different political maneuvering that was going on with the gubernatorial race, it was one of those things. Well, like anything can happen. I'll wait until I know that it's for sure, but you had a little bit of that inside intel,
a little bit
going into it, but you'd never done anything like that.
No, and I'm actually flattered that they asked. I was excited to agree, and I mean it was a lot more work, but it was a great experience.
Right. So that
and I got to meet a lot of great people too because of the campaign. In fact, we remained close even after the
I'm
campaign.
I'm sure. What was it? Now, what was it? I'm sure there's a learning curve to campaign treasurers, and I have no idea what it is. As much as I've been associated with politics in my life, nobody thankfully has ever asked me to do the Ray Gibson treasurer thing, and I don't know where to begin on something like that. I mean, what was it? Was it accounting? Was it strategy?
Well, I've got some accounting background, and I did that a lot for the business. And then there was some process that you can do on. Actually, it's required to do online, which is like filing your forms. And I'm familiar with FCC.gov and some of their process, and so just
wasn't that tricky for you?
No.
What was the hardest part?
It was not. Wow, that's a. I can't think of one.
Really?
Yes.
What about all the campaign stops that you had to make and all the different? Because during the course of the campaign, we see each other fairly regularly, Rotary events, galas, socials, and things like that. But I'd seen you more in that campaign period outside of the galas and the socials and things like that. I'd seen you more out at those things than I think I'd ever seen you ever.
Yes, it's been a while, and
busy.
that's one of the things I was really looking forward to was to finally, to get out there, because I did spend a lot of time in the office for the past couple of years or so. No, there was one project we did which required me to be out in different parts of the island, 15 areas, and that was about 3 years ago, and I made me realize how much I really actually enjoyed a lot of field work. So, hence
tower sites, places like that.
The tsunami siren sites.
Oh, that's you.
Yes.
How about that?
Yeah.
So there's my recollection, there were a few problems leading up to the construction of those sites because of the requirements for archaeological studies and what have you. So we had to make all of these different compliance things to punch through. But once you got those, it seems to me that those projects went up fairly quick.
Yes, they did. They sure did. They went up in a matter of months.
Yeah.
And it was from as far towards central Nico and up to Mauricio. So the plan was to try to work in groups of 3 or 4 so that you're much closer. But towards the end, we had one site in Mauricio and one site in Nico we were finishing up. So I was driving back
and forth all the time. Was
yeah.
it, now, with regard to those sites, I mean, were there places where you didn't mind the drive because you knew you were going to enjoy getting there? Even if it was work waiting for you, just go.
I enjoy the drive. Actually, it was nice driving to the south. It's been a while since I really did that as frequent as I did, and I did.
There's 9:30 in the morning. We'll take a break and take a look at some satellite imagery and tracking that I wanted to show for the Facebook viewers. Vicky Ganashis Borja is our guest this morning. Attractive woman with a business track record, and that's what I try to do on Fridays here at the radio station. Rain or shine, storm or condition 3 or not, it doesn't make any difference. I still want to try to follow that deal here. Corporate secretary at Radiocom, and so if you're a big deal, if you're a Motorola fan, and I know there's many of you that are. She's the lady to talk to, and if you are interested in buying or selling or renting or managing some real estate, you can also get her at 483-8000. Don't call her right now because I'm still going to be on the radio with her.
Can she get us one of those
Or you
new
can leave a
Razor
voicemail.
phones?
What do you want
One of the
from
new
her?
Razor phones?
The Razor phone?
Yeah, they got the new ones coming out.
Motorola Razor phones. Do you have those?
The new ones.
No. That's cellular telephone. We work with land mobile radios.
Yeah.
Oh, you just said Motorola, and I was
No.
That's more like consumer electronics. So we work with this industry and government
cool.
communications.
I need to get one of those too.
Cop radios, etc. 9:31 in the morning, and I'll ask about it just because I'm curious about cop radios and where that technology is taking us in the next couple of years. But I did want to put this out. iConnect, first of all, at 9:31 in the morning, and that's iConnect time. Call iConnect, ask them about incredible push to talk and programs and features that they've got. They got PTT, they got mobile, they've got internet plans that are waiting for you now. 888-8888 is their telephone number.
It's Micronesia Mall's 30th anniversary, and to celebrate, we are giving away a new Kia Soul LX, a Mazda 3i Sport, the popular Honda Civic LX, and 30 Manila Flyaways during our 30th anniversary Drive-Away Flyaway. Win 3 great cars from Triple J Auto Group, 30 Flyaways from Philippine Airlines, plus thousands of prizes from Burger King and Foot Locker when you play Micronesia Mall's 30th anniversary Drive-Away Flyaway.
There is yum hamburgers waiting for you on the Made to Crave, what do they call it? Made to Crave something over at Wendy's. It's Made to Crave menu. I'll look at the script a little bit later on. It's just every time I do, I start salivating. It's laway, I think is what my Filipino friends will refer to that as. But there are things there that will make you laway because they've got one there that's mushrooms, peppercorn, mushrooms, and in the burger. So they pile this thing high with these great mushrooms. They add so much, and there's an aioli that goes in it as well. The other thing is we've got the deal is they've got a barbecue burger on the Made to Crave menu over at Wendy's. So it's got all that sweet barbecue, tangy kind of flavor that goes in there. And then finally, the one that I think is my favorite these days, it's the Sauce'em Bacon Burger that they have there. It's a Sauce'em sauce, and it got all the fixins, and you start chewing on this thing, and you're going to understand why they refer to it as a Sauce'em sauce, because it is absolutely awesome. There's so much bacon in there, it actually falls out of the sandwich. Try it. Made to Crave menu at Wendy's.
On March 9th, join Bank of Guam for the EFIT Run and Block Party to benefit Guam Cancer Care and American Cancer Society. Our Sunset 2K and 5K run will start at Chamorro Village with showtime at 4 and go time at 5. And don't forget about our block party starting at 4 o'clock, complete with food trucks, a kids zone, live entertainment, and a beer garden, so don't forget your ID. This is a bring your own water bottle event. The EFIT Run and Block Party, Saturday, March 9th. Bank of Guam, member FDIC.
Studio time 9:34. Ray Gibson Show. We is still in Core 3. We'll eventually go into Core 2, but even before that, they're probably going to be releasing all of the non-essential employees in the government of Guam. So, as I said, if you're still there at 1:30, congratulations, you are essential to the operations. Otherwise, we'll call you when it's time to come back to work. Now, on the Facebook Live screen is the latest track from Joint Typhoon Warning Center. Give you an idea of where they think the storm is going to be going in the next about 12 hours or so. And then it broadens up a little bit. The cone of certainty begins to go a little bit wider the further out in time we go, and that's why there seems to be a larger window of opportunity for the storm to be moving over in one direction or another. But this is, as you've said, the track is looking pretty certain at this point, right?
Yeah, everyone seems to agree on the
much.
track for the most part. There were conflicting forecasts that have been generated during the week. Most of them have been showing this recurve scenario, but some have been showing a west tracker. But it looks like everything now is settling into the subtropical ridge, passing off to the east and allowing the storm to come on up through a break in the ridge there. So that's most likely what's going to happen. This was issued at 7 this morning, shows now closest point of approach to Hagatna at about 131 miles. It's looking like that will happen on the 23rd at 18Z. 18Z would be 4 o'clock in the morning here.
Really?
So, yeah. So looking like it's going to be Sunday morning, about 4 o'clock, that this will be swinging by. But again, if you look at the track, you can see it doesn't get much further away from Guam. There's 3 clicks there. The 23rd at 06Z, then 18Z, then another a day later. So for about 18 to 24 hours, it's going to stay much the same distance away from us. And so that's why we were talking to Jenna earlier.
Orbit, yeah.
Yeah, she was talking about that this actually is going to be kind of a long-lasting situation for us, because as it pinwheels around us to the west there, it's going to stick with us for a little while. Can you bring up that link that I sent you after I sent this?
Probably.
Yeah, because this is what we in the meteorological circles refer to as weather porn.
I'm sorry. What?
Right
weather porn. Okay.
Weather porn.
All right.
Hopefully, now you'll probably have to do a little dragging down to the bottom so we can see. This is from the Himawari 8 satellite, and this is a loop. This is taking pictures every minute.
Oh, really?
And it's just a loop of the storm. You can see the clouds and the condensation, the uplifting of the clouds. Still no eye. And you can also see the effects of the wind shear a little bit. If you noticed in the last couple of loops there, those storms that are forming on the north and west side are starting to kind of like the tops are blowing off to the west. And so that's part of that wind shear that we're talking about. These are really cool pictures. Even the meteorologists just love watching this. They can sit there for hours.
I'm with you. So is this this is a constantly refreshing loop?
No, this is not. No, this is not. You have to go to the websites and then pick it up. But that's RAM-B NOAA. NOAA actually carries this particular feed, and once you get to that page, then you can pop in, and then it will update from there. But here it won't. This is just a link to this particular loop.
Because you're right. I could watch this the same way as I watch the ocean on the weekend when
I mean, when they first started bringing these out after Himawari went up, we had some capability with the previous satellites, but once the Japanese Himawari went up, it just has so much better resolution and detail, and even takes pictures at a quicker pace than the others did.
I'm digging this completely. All right, now in terms of satellites, I was at Pirates Cove earlier, the weather.just Pirates Cove, and they're looking at a different satellite there, and there is a note that they're going to be decommissioning one satellite here soon and going to a new one for coverage. What will the new one be able to bring?
Well, actually the new one has already been online, and they do that. They get them up there, they get them started. They they test them out for about 3 or 4 months before they decide to go ahead and make them operational and then phase something out. It won't really bring much else to it. It'll give us a better resolution on some of the pictures we're looking at. It could also be some of the sensors and things on the new satellite will allow them to look deeper into the clouds, maybe get better information in terms of winds, moisture content, and other things. So every time they send one up, it's definitely an upgrade from the one previous.
Can it see my license plate in the car?
Absolutely.
Cool stuff, man. 9:38 in the morning. 888-825-5888-TALK is the phone number here at the radio station. Spending time with Vicky Ganashis-Bora as we make our way through the end of today's program and into the rest of it. Now, he was talking about the cell phone technology, and there's very cool stuff that's coming out now. We've got the what's the name of the gizmo there? It's the new Motorola Razr, and for a lot of people, they've got great memories of the cell phone revolution. For a lot of people, that was their phone because it was the sweet, sexy one that came out, and then they came out with that other clamshell that was even smaller than the Razr, and I guess the question has to do with are there things that are happening in other allied fields, other technology fields that you look at and go, man, that's just so cool.
Well, there's a lot of capabilities with land mobile radio. Now you're talking about technology.
With your stuff,
Right now, it's just very cool the way it is. It's just you're with all the different apps that's available, and basically you can just do your work outside of the conventional office.
But like cop phones, right? And cop phone technology. I mean, because they haven't really changed the way they use the phones, but there's so much digital technology involved now, where the police officer is over here and he sends the message here, but it will jump to a different part of the spectrum, and the guy will be able to hear it here. When he responds, it jumps back to a different. It used to be the simplex operation on the same channel, and now it's changed. There's so many different channels in the bank that it makes it difficult for people to follow the conversations that cops are having. We've got that here, right?
Yes. That's what we call a trunk system. Same concept as.
Because I got a scanner. And I want to be
hopping.
able to hear cops all the time. But I every time I try to get into the realm of programming it, it's difficult because it changes, and the radios actually talk to each other, and will tell the other radio what frequency to listen to for the response. Right.
Right. I remember that. You know, when you used to have your old Bearcat scanner, and you plug in the frequency. Now it's digital. They're encrypted. It's going to be very, very difficult. You
to
have
find
to be
out what's going
very
on.
talented and with a lot of money to invest in being able to monitor.
Do you ever do that at the office? And
No.
just being no, Ray, ever.
Sorry,
I never ever do that. Don't ever ask me that on the air again. I might go to jail if I say yes. But there used to be, and it's one of my favorite times was when the old system would go into a thing called failsoft.
Fail safe.
Fail safe?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes. They would then revert to. They would originally have about 20 channels to work with. So you've got the different talk groups, and you've got different operations going on at the same time. Fail safe is when it will revert to one channel.
Just one, and everybody
for
can hear
about
everything.
Maybe hundreds of radios.
Oh, is it just brilliant time? I'd just sit there and turn the thing on and hear all of the conversations. That was on that old MTX 800. Because and then back in the old days, in the pager days, which you'll recall. I'm sorry, just a couple of radio people yakking now. Is you could turn the pager off, and the idea was that it wouldn't break squelch unless it got some kind of a code associated with it. But there was a way that you could manipulate the pager so it went on. Without the squelch, which meant that you could hear everything that was taking place, because it was all on just one or two channels, right?
That's the voice pagers.
Oh,
right?
well, we've been in the business for a long time.
Yeah.
That's how people used to get messages. That's how people would find us when we weren't next to a phone. Is the pager, and then you got to find a way to call back, and then it came out with the digital pagers.
Digital, and you've got the alphanumeric, and
alphanumeric. That changed my life. That changed my life.
143.
Yeah, I used to do that contest. I'd give people. There was a contest I did on the radio, and what it was is we'd have a phrase, and then I would take that phrase and transpose it into the numeric, just like on the phone keypad, and then put the numbers on the air. And the first person that could call up and identify what the phrase was based on those numbers, get free food from McDonald's or something like that. And the people that won that contest the most were either people in the telecom business or the guys over at Cuentos, because the guys over at Cuentos actually wrote a piece of code on a computer, so all they had to do was punch in the numbers that I gave them, and it would give them the appropriate what it was probably likely to say.
Okay.
Based on that. And the guys at they're listening right now, and they're going, yeah, that was me. That was me, Ray. I wrote that code. 9:43 in the morning. So, you know, I've begun to refer to my life as a series of actual lifetimes, if you will. You know, you're here for a while, you're in this state of life, and then it ends, and then you move on to something else, and then that ends, and you kind of graduate to something else. And so I'm wondering, you know, how many different lifetimes have you lived? I mean, you've got the Radiocom lifetime, and now you're branching out into the real estate lifetime. Does it feel that way for you?
No, it feels
Is
like
it just a continuum?
It's just continuum. That's right.
Of the same thing.
Same thing, but a little bit different. Yeah.
Well, and you're a little bit different. You're not the person that people might look at it on the real estate ad and go, okay, well that's typical Vicky Ganashis Borja, because there's other pictures of Vicky Ganashis Borja on Facebook wearing leathers.
That's right.
You're wearing
my motorcycle.
You're a motorcycle chick.
Yes, I definitely enjoy that. That's what we call wind therapy.
It's what?
It's wind therapy.
Wind
you know
therapy.
What? Yeah, no, not winded. Wind. Sometimes.
I guess.
It was something that I picked up about 4 years ago. I think I was about 50 years old, and people accused me of going through a midlife crisis. I said, no, that's not fair. I said, it's ever since my 20s. Always wanted to be a motorcycle rider, not just a passenger.
Right.
Just always wanted to do it, and I'm glad I did. It's one of the best decisions I've ever made.
How so?
It's just a way. First of all,
Was it scary getting
the
started?
community. I didn't feel that way at first, and then when I finally got on the road, switched from first gear to second gear, then a little bit, and then I realized just how heavy Harley Davidsons are.
Yes, it's the big bikes.
I've never dropped my bike. No, just
Sweet.
kidding. Just
Okay,
kidding. No, we're supposed to say that.
Oh, you've never dropped your bike?
No, I have actually.
Are there scars on Marine Drive because you dropped it there?
No, I had a very Ken Duenas. When I went to Harley Davidson and I saw Ken and I said I want to ride. He gave me a bit of a tutorial or just before getting on the jump start, he we had a little talk, and he said, Vicky, no matter what, if you're in a bind, let that bike go, because you can replace those parts, but if you hurt yourself or something else,
so just hop off if you get into trouble.
Hop off. Yes, and that's fortunately I wasn't going very fast. It was just I was switching from first to second gear. Got excited. I stopped the bike and I applied the brakes, and I had, make a long story short, the bike fell or dropped to its side, but I just let go, so I was still standing. And that's,
so you survived that, and okay, that's
that's when I realized it was heavy.
Yeah, trying to pick it up afterwards, right?
Yes.
This is why you ride with guys, so they can help you.
No, there's a technique. So
to raising a Harley from the side of the road.
Yeah, no, it wasn't it. Yeah, I guess it was
the side of the road. Why did you start with a smaller bike? What did this?
It's actually a pretty small bike.
75cc or something like that, just to get used to it.
Okay, that small bike.
Yeah, like moped size.
It wasn't available. It wasn't in the carport.
All right, so Mikey wants to know how big your bike is.
It's an 883.
An 883.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that means.
It's 883 cc's.
CCs, yeah.
Okay.
It used to be the entry model, but now I think they've got a 750.
Did you customize it?
A little bit, but change the muffler. It's a lot louder now, which I think was
I can fix that.
It's a great idea. I mean, that was a good idea to do that, especially if you're a beginner.
So you made yours louder on purpose?
Yes.
I mean, it's a Harley. They're loud already. They've got a very throaty and distinctive sound, but you weren't satisfied with that?
No. I really had to be the obnoxious one on the road, just for a while. Just eventually, I think as you ride more, you realize that noise, too much, being too loud, kind of causes some kind of a noise fatigue.
There might-
right?
It's okay. You got headphones. You can listen to stuff in
Well,
there.
you were not supposed to. That's not safe. But yeah, that's
You know, you're riding around without a helmet. There's people there that, you know, safety is a secondary concern. As much as it is just, you know, just people just like to ride.
no. If I safety first. I mean, I'll wear a helmet. I will wear protection, and I'll definitely wear boots, not Zoris.
Yeah, because otherwise you leave toes on the pavement
Exactly.
when you're not careful about this. So was that the only customizing that you did? Because I mean that's a big deal among Harley guys. Is there's some that, you know, really proud because it's 100% stock, and then there's the other ones that say, you know what, this is barely stock. There's all kinds of things that we've added to this. You know, chrome this, chrome that, Harley the other, and so they've turned it into uniquely their own instantly identifiable bike.
No, I put some extra chrome as well. Change my seat. It's got the flames pattern.
Get the big sissy bars up here?
No. I'm not quite sure how to ride a motorcycle with the bars that high.
How do you do that?
It looks a little bit awkward to me. Others enjoy it. They like the look, but I've never even tried.
So do you pack guys on the back of your bike?
Solo seat.
Oh,
Sorry.
really? So
Yeah. No. Solo.
I mean, this is not even a question. The answer is no. Don't even ask. 'Cause
This is
not
my
happen.
time. Yes.
And so, but there's a community of,
Yes.
of bike riders, and,
Right.
and so again I've been in and out of it. I'm not a bike rider, but I support everything that the Hogs do, and the girls, and in their own way that you guys are up to, all the charity races and things like that that you guys get involved in. So I've always supported that. But then, you know, there's the idea that should I get a bike? And I remember there'd be people I'd mention that to, and they just start laughing. Ray Gibson on a motorcycle, get out of here.
Guam has except for this weekend, perhaps, our weather's perfect for
Riding all the time.
Yes.
So when we were talking about working on projects down south, how much did you enjoy? How much do you enjoy getting together with your group and saying, okay, where's the ride this week?
All the time. I definitely enjoy going around the island with the Harley Owners Group and the Ladies of Harley, the great group of people to ride with. And I've also I used to ride with Mengachong.
Yeah.
Very nice folks. Terry and Tony Gumatao. They when I first started riding, I actually rode with them, and they knew that I was a beginner, and they made sure they were conscious about the speed and safety.
Yeah.
So
Well, help
good
build up your
folks.
confidence.
Yes.
You know,
Yes,
and then working with them, you build up confidence so that, you can hang out with the other guys and the other different groups that you get involved with. And there's a lot of charity that goes on with these groups. Do you get involved in that, or is it, purely riding and goofing off with pals on the weekend?
Charity work in terms of there's the candy run.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly. There's.
Do you drink beer out of the bottle, or do you pour it into a glass? Because when you're riding a bike, I just presume that you're a beer drinker.
I drink water.
Yeah,
Especially when
Harley people don't strike me as the red wine type, just hanging out over at Wild Bill's, drinking wine out of a goblet.
Not before riding a motorcycle. That's just a big no-no for me.
Gotcha. So just advice for young ladies getting started in business. You got your start working with your father as a family business and things like that, but you've got opportunities now in front of you to venture out. So, as a woman in business, what do you want to tell other young women that might be striking out, listening as they're getting ready to go to their, business school at the University of Guam?
Okay. Well, just get out there and whatever your passion is, get involved. And I have to say, getting involved with community service programs like
Rotary
Club of Guam, Seroptimist International of Marianas. I mean, these are also men and women who are in business and profession. Networking with them is a big plus, and never give up.
Never give up.
Never give up.
Love the way she puts that. Hey, it's selfie time, 9:52 in the morning, and I'm going to take a break. While we do that, I'm going to grab some selfies, post this up on the internet. It's video on demand, so that when she's done, if you miss something about the dog, Chewy, or riding motorcycles, or being in the real estate game, or being in the radio game for a long time, you'll be able to hear all of that and share the link with all of Vicky's friends. Thanks so much for coming, and it's 9:53. I'll be right back after selfies.
Make the good things last longer. Get 3 more days for free on our 3-day prepaid rate plan. That's 6 days of unlimited local calls, SMS, and 1 gig of 4G LTE data per day for just $7.95. Text HS3 to 3282 from your Docomo Pacific prepaid phone to sign up today. Docomo Pacific. Better together. Some conditions apply.
Experience the Take Care difference. Take Care members can count on accessing a high-quality, credentialed network of on-island providers, including the convenient one-stop FHP Health Center and Urgent Care, access to an extensive off-island network of providers, and the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs. You can count on Take Care to deliver comprehensive, accredited insurance coverage and quality health care when and where you need it. Take Care. Our island, your health plan. Learn more at takecareasia.com.
That's funny. What have I got here? The Evelyn Z campus in time, and there we go. Yes, I took pictures with the phone. I'll put them up on online. Apes Flores, also from GTA, says, "Morning, Ray. Just wanted to bring up the folks can pre-order the Samsung S10e, the S10, and the S10 Plus at GTA through the website. Happy to help you out with that information as well. I'm a Samsung S8 guy before I got my hands on the Pixel, and so if you want to be in Android heaven, I think that is about the place to go. 888-8255, 888-TALK. Just a reminder, the Department of Education has got early release times for a number of their schools. At 11 o'clock this morning, about an hour from now, Southern High School, Teadston High, JFK, and JP Torres Success Academy will be releasing their students. More information that you need to know. At 11:30, it'll be GW, Ukadu High School, and Simon Sanchez High School releasing their students at 11:30. And a reminder, there is no Gecko Day tomorrow at Agana Shopping Center. Mike?
Got the latest from the National Weather Service here. I'll go after you're done there.
Right on. And at noon, all GDOE elementary schools and Head Starts will be releasing their students. There's one more, and I'll call that message up here in a second. In the meantime, what do you got?
9:19 this morning. The new information: Guam will most likely be upgraded to tropical storm warning at 11 this morning. The local statement providing recommended actions: typhoon warning in effect for Sarawal and Yap State, and Puluwat and Chuk State. Still got a tropical storm watch for us, Guam, Rota, Tinian, and Saipan. Also, flash flood watch in effect for Guam and Rota. So watch out for the heavy rain, could cause some flooding. It's 7 a.m. We had those coordinates already, so no new information in terms of the location or anything, but just to know that they did say that we will likely be under a tropical storm warning starting at 11 this morning.
All right, and that is a function of time as they look over where the storm is and where we may be able to anticipate. And it's kind of, as we've talked about numerous times this morning, it's going to be kind of difficult to ping when exactly that CPA is going to be, because it's going to be, the storm will be at that pivot moment then, as it makes a little bit more of a radical turn towards the northwest.
That's right, yeah.
So,
that's precisely what's going to happen. And we're going to be kind of at that pivot center. So it's going to be swinging on around, and it'll wind up being about 130 miles from us for several hours. And, you know, we've been saying from the very start, you know, you and I have been talking about this, and I've been telling everyone all along that the winds will be the biggest thing with this storm because of the pressure gradient and other things, and that is really the thing we need to look out for. So get that stuff that can blow around and put it away. Secure as much as you possibly can. So I'm not going to make any changes to the slow-speed crawl right now. I might have some new information by the time it gets to be time for Daryl Taggarty to be on the radio, and I have no idea what he's going to be wearing today. I thought it was kind of something yesterday where he walked in like he was a member of the Village People. I was about to do Macho Man. And he remarked, he says, "Oh, Ray Gibson's there." Well, yeah, because I want to make sure you weren't crazy. It's funny, you know, because I happen to have on my biker outfit at just that moment.
Right,
you know, we could have.
Well, I was doing the cowboy things with the chaps.
Wow.
There were a couple of other early release schedules that I needed to let you know about. 12:30 at 12, all Head Start and elementary schools will be releasing their kids. 12:30, all middle schools are going to be releasing theirs, and that will take care of just about everything. After that, it'll give time for the the guys at DOE to start, especially the ones that are involved in some kind of sheltering, give them some time to get things cleaned up. And then they've got the Aspire and after-school programs are canceled for today. Sports programs scheduled for tomorrow are also canceled. So that's the word. We did finally get some information about the 5Ks that are going to be going on, and I've got to tell you, I'm a little bit disappointed because there's a couple of these that I wanted to run in tomorrow. So I'll let you know what I've got here from Manny. The UOG ROTC race that was scheduled for tomorrow has been rescheduled for March the 9th. All right. The charity chicken run, do I have on that one, will be rescheduled till March the 2nd. So that takes care of one of the morning races and tomorrow's afternoon race. There is the St. John's race, and I don't have any information on that. That one is scheduled to go off at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning at Epal Beach. And is my preferred run because that's the one that if it's done right, there should be less wind on that route as opposed to running on Marine Corps Drive.
Yeah,
but you know, given the fact that we're talking about tropical storm strength winds being able to move in tomorrow, it might be that there's going to be impossible to avoid any wind. And we were waiting on the Rotary Club race, which is supposed to light off at 6 o'clock on Sunday morning. Mere hours after what that closest point of approach is going to be, and my producer is shaking his head saying, yeah, that's probably not going to happen. Hey, listen, there's a lot going on, and as I've told you a billion times, is anything can happen with these storms, and that's why we watch them until they are well away from our area. So do me a favor, don't take your eye off this storm. Keep your ears on this radio station and any other radio station that you feel comfortable listening to make sure that you are completely informed about what's going to be going on. When it gets inclement, if it gets rough, one of a couple of things is going to happen. Mike will be here, and if it gets really, really rough, I will be here with Mike through the weekend to take you through storm coverage. In the meantime, do what you can to prep while the weather is still pretty good. The radio station is KUSG Hagutnya. For Michael Knight and Kevin Kerrigan and Blake Watson, thanks for listening. I'll catch you when I catch you.
Ordered. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. North Carolina's Elections Board voting 5-0 to redo the undecided congressional race, where Republican Mark Harris had been leading Democrat Dan McCready by only 905 votes. He had admitted his lead was tainted by absentee ballot fraud, but says he had nothing to do with it.
Through the testimony I've listened to over the past 3 days, I believe a new election should be called.
New primaries will